Well, hey everybody, I'm just hanging out here at the hub on this beautiful sunshiny day. In fact, it's so much so that I can barely look into the camera because it's just right there and it is so nice. But by the time you're watching this week, it'll be back to the rain, back to the clouds and everything else. But I didn't want to wait for this video. In fact, I figured no better day than today to stand out here in front of our hub and to give you an update on some of the stuff pertaining to the building. Now, as you all know, about a week and a half ago, roughly, I'm losing track of the days, we did a big meeting for all of you online where we just walked through not only this awesome possibility that's here, showed you some of the new plans, showed you some of the design. Then on Thanksgiving Day, we actually emailed out to you some of the kind of renderings of the building. In fact, right now I'm standing in an exact angle to one of those renderings. Right now you're able to see that rendering if you didn't get a chance to see it when we emailed that out on Thanksgiving Day. But honestly, you look at that and you go, that is just a cool building. It is rad no matter how you slice it. But we also know that to do something like this is going to be a bit of a price tag. We told you it's $6 million. That has not changed. That's still the price tag. But also what we told you in that meeting is that we were going to send out some survey a few weeks down the road saying, hey, what do you want us to do, A, B, or C? And a lot of that survey was going to be kind of just acknowledging that $6 million is a lot of money, and where we're at versus where that would need to be is a big gulf. And so if there was other options we needed to consider, we were going to do a survey to get your input on those options. Well, since then, there has been some super rad things that have been going on, and I want to catch you up to speed on that. And part of the reason is not just simply for the practicality of it, but part of the reason too is I believe everything teaches. I believe God puts things in our lives to test our faith, to grow our faith, and to grow our sense of just relying on Him no matter what the odds are before us. And so here's some things you want to know about that are really cool. The first thing is that our plan, the overall look of the property, it went to the planning commission here in the city. It's a group of people and they kind of give their thumbs up or thumbs down, and then that goes on to the next stage of the journey. But we had that meeting just about a week and a half ago, somewhere in there, and they met, they deliberated. Pastor Scott was a part of that meeting, and at the end of that night, they actually approved our building from the Planning Commission. Now, for some of you go like, well, sure, whatever, that's great. But here's the deal. That does not happen with a church. It does not happen with a building like ours. It doesn't always happen in a community like ours. And yet they loved the facility. They had nothing that they wanted to change. And typically, while they table those decisions for roughly another month, and then they come back around to it, they actually decided that very night, man, this building's great. We're giving it the thumbs up to go on to the next step. And so that was huge. In fact, to be perfectly candid with you, this entire process for years has been huge. Finding a property right in the middle of Duval, huge. Paying it off in such a short amount of time, huge. Getting plans into the city before some of the ordinances changed that would mean we could never do anything with this property. You know, we got it in an hour before that vote went through. Huge. God just keeps showing up. For us, as we all know, the bigger challenge is ultimately the price tag, right? $6 million is no small amount of money, especially for a church of our size. And so we told you, like, hey, here's the options on this. Either this has to happen, or this has to happen, or this has to happen, or this probably won't happen. And then, of course, it's truncated by the fact that we only have roughly 2 years to accomplish all those tasks. Well, here's the cool thing. God's not done doing stuff. He continues to open doors. He continues to make a way. And I can't go into all the details of all the really cool things that are going on behind the scenes right now. But what I can tell you is this is like going from feeling like a Hail Mary that might happen to something that I believe is going to have a great chance of happening, and in that 2-year window. In fact, you know me, right? Like I'm an open book to all of you. You know that I am one of the most guarded guys. I am not a sales pitch guy. That's not the way I roll. But really, as I continue to look at the things that are coming together and some of the options that are before us, I'm like, holy smokes, this is actually something that I believe is going to happen. In fact, so much so that we have just authorized our architects to continue to finish their side of the project. And we are actually hoping to begin some of the site work on our property in 2021. That does not mean the whole building will be done in 2021. We still have a limited window in which it has to be done, but we believe that we're actually going to see this property I'm standing on here, where the parking will be, as starting to be developed and refined and really handled in such a way that we are moving forward with the project. That's how optimistic we are. about the future. And so we are looking at 2021 as a time in which we hope things begin to happen in a very visible and tangible way with the property. Now, with that said, I want to give a challenge to all of you. Because what I don't want you to think is, oh, this is awesome. Some white knight on a horse has come in to spare us all, and so we all get to just sit back and enjoy what somebody else is going to fund in some way. No, what this is going to take is all of us. While there are some really cool options that are shaping up and coming to the table, it's really going to require that every single one of us decides to make an investment into the future of Redemption Church and into the hub. That's just what it's going to be about. And so this might happen at a couple of different levels, because what's still true is that we want to see our monthly giving go up. And what's still true is that we need to see gifts come in that begin to put sizable chunks toward the property. Both are true. And so my challenge to all of us as we're finishing out this 2020 season, December is usually a big giving year for nonprofits and churches. If you've been thinking about giving a sizable gift to Redemption, this would be a great time to do it, because there's going to be a lot of resources that must be spent between now and that site development work. And that's going to come relatively quickly. That might be as soon as 6 months from now, roughly 6 to 7. And so again, we need to just start making our investments at this point. So if you're thinking about an end of the year gift or gifts, that can be, money, that can be stocks, there's all sorts of ways that people give to Redemption. This would be the time to think about that. If you've been thinking about actually just increasing your giving a little bit per month, hey, that would be fantastic. We would love that, because that gets us closer and makes all of this much more manageable as we move forward. And in fact, one last challenge I might give, and I'm not asking forever, but maybe for a season, is that maybe there's other things you give to as well, but you reconsider just giving to this particular cause for a season so we can see this get underway. Because I think we have great opportunities. Sure, we have challenges, but we have great opportunities. And I believe it's an opportunity for all of us to buy in together to this cause for the good of our city. And so the hub is quickly moving from just sort of a hopeful thing to a realistic thing. And so we want to move in faithfulness. We want to move in wisdom and thoughtfulness. We want to move in humility and anticipation for what Jesus is doing in our city. So if you would like to contribute, now is the season, now is the time. Increasing it monthly, giving a special gift, maybe a couple of special gifts over the next couple of years. I don't know. I'm going to let the Holy Spirit work in your heart. I don't like to play Holy Spirit. I'm no good at it. It's above my pay grade. I'll let Him do that in you. But these are exciting times for our church and exciting times for our city.